On this episode of TQA Weekly, I talk about my 5 hated, 5 faves, and 5 cool features of iOS 7. My name is Steve Smith, this is TQA Weekly. If ever you have any technology questions, comments, suggestions, and or stories, email me at ask@tqaweekly.com. Go to my website, tqaweekly.com, and use the contact form. Or if you're watching on the many dozen websites I post to every single week, use the comments box on this page. Now, this episode of TQA Weekly is brought to you by ProXPN. ProXPN is a virtual private network that allows you to use the internet the way it should be, anonymously and without oversight. For 20% off your new account, go to proxpn.com/podcast and use the coupon code TQAWEE. That gives us, a little bit to make this show possible. So let's start off with the 5 things I didn't like, and they are A, the calendar. Calendar sucks, Apple. I mean, no feeling of continuity, no feeling of it being uniform, too minimalistic. I can't use it. I can't even look at it. It really just pisses me off the way it looks. At least before, the feeling of continuity was there, seamlessly merged one into the other. Now it just looks like somebody didn't understand what white space is. Second, side-scrolling folders are not as intuitive as you would believe. I've had friends actually ask me where the heck their apps went. If somebody needs to ask a question about where their apps went on an iPhone of all things, it's badly implemented in the first place. 3, and this only affects people like me, VPN activation is still temporary. For me, a bug, since everything about iPhones is permanently on or off. This is a temporary thing. Now, I don't know. Maybe you got bought off by a bunch of freaking cell phone carriers that don't want all their traffic being encrypted, but that is not their problem. We bought our phone, we paid a service. I don't care about them. I don't care about their stats. I don't care about any of their stuff that they want. They don't even need to know where I am going on the internet. Please make it permanent. That way, all of those who are serious about our security can actually benefit from the fact that we pay extra dollars to have a VPN in the first place. 4th, the lock screen playlist is gone. Now, I'm not going to be the only person pissed off about this, but let's just say it clean and straight out. It was behind the album, and when we would swipe to the side, it would be right there. It's not like it took any extra place on the screen, and it was very useful. It disappeared, and that is just a shame since it was very useful. It didn't used to exist, came to existence, and then disappeared. Oh well. And lastly, for a phone that is super minimalist, which I actually like since that's the way I design my own websites, a lot of these new features are battery killers. Not necessarily so visible that many people would actually realize it. In fact, I had to use the accessible menus from the bottom of the screen just to be able to see and finally realize that parallax existed on my phone. Now, first, the accessible option menu that I just talked about allows us, when we slide from the bottom towards the up, access to from the home or lock screen to airplane mode, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi activation, do not disturb, lock to portrait orientation, screen brightness, and turn off auto brightness if you want to save your battery, audio controls, flashlight, timer, calculator, which is useful, and camera, which is also useful without fumbling online for applications that either cost money, have advertisements, or worse yet, require us to get our password into the phone to unlock it. So much like having your cell phone as your primary camera, since it's already on you, you now have a viable flashlight that is accessible faster than hunting for that flashlight in your toolbox, in the garage, underneath those 6 Christmas boxes during a blackout when the fuse box just went out and you're trying to find what the heck's wrong. So if you understand what I'm talking about and it's already happened to you, yeah, it's a lot easier to find something now. Second, the new search mode. All we need to do for the search mode now is click anywhere on the screen and slide down. The new search mode will activate. No longer going all the way to the left for trying to find something. And for those who lost their apps because they didn't realize you can side scroll, you can now find them anywhere in the phone. Thirdly, the new compass slash level. For those who actually need a level like me, you can now actually use a compass that calibrates every single time. Therefore, it is actually a lot more precise. And here's a fun tip. If your Wi-Fi is on, it can actually use Wi-Fi information to help it be more accurate in the first place. And the level is actually pretty good that way. I don't have to go and hunt for my really long level anymore inside my toolboxes that are really far away from this office. The new mailbox feature is a little bit more badass. I would love to have a maximum return to it so I can decide if I want all my email to be in my phone or not. I would even love to be able to tell it that after X amount of days, it just don't show up on my phone anymore. So for those of you that have hundreds of emails, be careful because your phone's going to get really crowded. And lastly, the new camera options. We now have square-like Instagram photo capabilities and new filters we can use. So for those who didn't take photography back in school, you can now feel like an artist and be one too. And the 5 coolest looking parts that I experienced from iOS that are also battery killers: parallax, combined with the dynamic background. So obviously we have parallax that allows us to give a slight view to what we're looking at. We have the dynamic backgrounds that for now are just bubbles. Yeah, not bad, but I didn't leave it on since I did realize that having both on is really bad for the battery. It does take advantage of the tilting ability of the phone, so the phone does realize it's being tilted. Unfortunately, that means we're using the sensor, which is killing our battery in the first place. They now have newer ringtones, so for those of us that all had the same ringtone for some reason, we won't have 36 people opening their phone to see who got the text message. Chances are it's me. Yeah. That's why I like having that do not disturb now. And of course, the folder application zoom, whenever you open a folder or an application, it actually looks like it's doing something. So it pops open and you now feel like you're getting somewhere, like a voyage. And of course, for those who really liked and really wanted a better lock slash home screen, we have a better lock screen that has no deep bar around the time, which means we get to see the cool, gorgeous pictures. Those who know me know what I'm talking about. In our background, we have access to all our stuff, better keyboards, better dialing pads for those who use numerical keyboards, and of course, we get to use a lot more options. So besides that little menus I talked about earlier, you also have the calendar when you scroll from the top, which includes weather information, tells you how many other appointments you'll have in the next day on top of everything you have for that specific day. So those are actually pretty good. Next week, I'll be talking about zero-day viruses and attacks and what it means and what you can do to try to minimize the risks of being a victim of this kind of attack. And now, back to ProXPN because they make this show possible. Now more than ever, your online freedom and privacy are under threat. Governments and ISPs want to control what you can or cannot see while keeping a record of everything you do. Plus, that free Wi-Fi at the coffee house or airport terminal is putting you at risk because your passwords and sensitive data can be intercepted more easily than you might think. ProXPN is a global VPN that works with almost any internet connection, creates a secure, encrypted tunnel through which all your online data passes back and forth, which is why I use it on my iPhone. Any online photo can work with ProXPN, including your web browser, email, file sharing, and instant messaging programs. ProXPN keeps everything you do online hidden from prying eyes, disguising your physical location, and giving you unfeathered access to any website or online service no matter where you live or travel to. Complete online privacy with a 48-bit encryption key, 512 encryption tunnel, works with OpenVPN or PPTP, the way we use on iPhone. Protect yourself against your ISP's 6 strikes rule, internet filtering, blocked websites, and bypass geographical restrictions for internet content, online video with worldwide servers in the US, UK, Asia, and more. ProXPN software works with Windows and Mac, offering advanced controls allowing you to select which programs and ports you want to anonymously route through ProXPN servers. ProXPN also works with iOS and Android, allowing you to use your data plan or public corporate Wi-Fi with complete and total privacy on the go. No app required. They have a 24/7 customer support. And just so we all understand, this is how my show is possible, so please keep this in mind. TQA Weekly watchers and listeners also get a free 30-day risk-free trial. Remember to visit proxpn.com/podcast and sign up with the code TQAWEE. ProXPN premium accounts are normally $9.95 a month, $74.95 for an entire year. We've got a special offer. Use the coupon code TQAWEE and you will receive 20% off the entire lifetime of your account. Thank you for watching, listening, and if you haven't already done so, subscribe to the show. Have a great day, and we'll see you all here next week. Goodbye. Thank you for listening to TQA Weekly. Show your support by liking this episode, subscribe to get our latest episodes as they come out, and share with friends and family who may benefit from such a show as this. You may send us your questions, comments, suggestions, and or stories to ask at tqaweekly.com. For our show notes, links to our Android application, alternate means of subscribing to our show, and information on joining our weekly newsletter, head over to tqaweekly.com. Stay safe and online, and have a great day.